In the winter of 1932, the Australian government officially declared war on an animal, and in a turn of events that sounds like fiction, the animal won. Welcome back to Curious Growth. Today, we're opening a dusty file from the annals of military history, one that contains a conflict so absurd it's hard to believe it ever happened. It's the story of the Great Emu War, a bizarre chapter where the Royal Australian Artillery, armed with machine guns, was deployed to combat a rather unusual enemy: 20,000 large, flightless birds. The stage was set in the Campion district of Western Australia. It was the height of the Great Depression, and the government had encouraged new farmers, many of them World War I veterans, to cultivate wheat in this marginal land. After a difficult harvest, their problems were compounded by a massive seasonal migration of emus. These birds, standing up to 6 feet tall and capable of running at 30 miles per hour, discovered that the cleared farmland and man-made dams offered an ideal environment. They began feasting on the crops, destroying fences, and threatening the livelihoods of the already struggling farmers. Desperate, the farmers appealed for help. Their solution? Machine guns. A delegation met with the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pearce, himself a WWI veteran. He agreed. It seemed like a win-win. The farmers would get pest control and the military would get some target practice. So Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery was dispatched with 2 soldiers and 2 Lewis machine guns, along with 10,000 rounds of ammunition. On paper, it was a guaranteed victory. In reality, it was a fiasco. The first battle took place on November 2nd. The soldiers spotted a flock of about 50 emus. They lay in wait, but the birds were too far out of range. The locals tried to herd the emus into an ambush, but the flock smartly split into small groups and scattered. The gunners opened fire, but the emus' erratic movements and tough hides made them surprisingly difficult targets. After firing hundreds of rounds, the military had managed to kill perhaps a dozen birds. The military's tactics grew more desperate. They mounted a Lewis gun on a truck, hoping to pursue the emus. This failed spectacularly. The vehicle couldn't keep up with the birds, and the ride was so bumpy that the gunner couldn't even take aim. As one eyewitness noted, not a single emu was hit. Major Meredith was stunned. He noted in his report, with a hint of admiration, the emu's uncanny ability to organize and evade. He observed, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks." After less than a week and nearly 2,500 rounds fired for a meager kill count, the first attempt was called off. The press had a field day, mocking the operation. Despite the public ridicule, the farmers persisted and the military operation was relaunched a few days later. While this second attempt saw slightly more success, it was still incredibly inefficient. By the time the operation concluded in December, the official report claimed 986 emus killed with 9,860 rounds, a rate of exactly 10 bullets per confirmed kill. Many more were wounded but escaped. The emu population, however, remained very much intact. The war was over, the emus had won. So why did Australia lose a war to a flock of birds? The Great Emu War is a perfect, almost comical parable about the limits of human power and our frequent underestimation of nature. The military approached the problem with a linear, conventional mindset. They had superior technology and a clear objective. But the emus didn't fight like soldiers. They were a decentralized, chaotic, and resilient system. They didn't have a command structure to target or a battle line to break. They simply adapted and survived. This story serves as a powerful reminder that complex natural systems often defy simple brute force solutions. It teaches us a lesson in humility, showing that our carefully laid plans can be completely upended by the elegant, messy, and unpredictable forces of the natural world. Ultimately, the emu problem was solved not by guns, but by better infrastructure, stronger emu-proof fences. It was a quieter, less dramatic, and far more effective solution. It's a lesson that remains as relevant today as it was in 1932. Sometimes the best strategy isn't to declare war, but to adapt and build a better fence. Thanks for joining us on Curious Growth. Follow us for your next daily dose and never stop learning.